Very good morning, everyone. Let me know in the chat. Can you guys hear me? Thank you, Deep, for confirming. Very good morning, Joseph. So we'll wait for some more minutes, then we'll start. So from where we left yesterday, we'll continue from there. I know it would be very less time because we have completed our last class at 11 o'clock, and I believe nobody has practiced anything till now. So I think you guys will get today's whole day and tomorrow's as well. Then we have the next class on Monday, right? So you will have enough time to do practice on whatever concept we are learning in testing part as well. Okay. Then on Tuesday, I think we have our revision to Wednesday. I think it's on Wednesday we have our revision class. I will check. I am not sure about the schedule till now, but very soon we will have that revision class also, and there we will answer all of your doubts as well. Okay. So we'll wait for one more minute and then we'll start. Very good morning, Mahek. I have a problem in app.js file as it is showing sync, not defined error. As it is showing sync, not defined error. So if you remember, Mahek, we have removed the sync part, right? We have changed that sync with authenticate because the reason for changing from sync to authenticate was because when we are using dot sync with sequelize.sync, so it was automatically deleting all the data, all the tables, it is dropping all the tables and creating all the new table. So the existing data, like the new user we are trying to create or new product, whatever we are trying to create, those all were properly, like, every time deleted whenever we are restarting our server. So that's why we have removed sequelize.sync. And now let me share my screen. You can see that if I go into the backend cohort and look for index.js, so you guys can see here we are simply using sequelize.authenticate now in line number 20, not using the sequelize.sync. Okay. So first thing this you can do, and you can paste the error, or might be sequelize.sync could be giving error you like foreign key constraint, these type of errors, because right now we are creating many to many things, many to many association. So possibility are there. Some of the tables are not properly deleting. Okay. So actually, I was having exams, so I could not attend classes. So I was coping up with the courses through the recorded video. So that time I was having the problem in app.listen. So yes, you can just check more recorded videos, and then you will definitely understood. So I told you the reason, right? Why we removed the sync. You can see in the line number 20, we are not using sync now. The reason for that, why we have removed the sync, because the sync, what sync does, it drop all the tables from database and then create all the new tables. So like whatever data we are inserting, like users or cart, these informations are automatically got deleted. So that's why we moved from sequelize.sync to sequelize.authenticate, जिससे हम अपना डेटा को रिटेन कर सकें, जो भी हमने डेटा इंसर्ट किया है. सिंपल यही पर्पस था हमारा. So we can update delete using authenticate. नहीं, update delete इसके थ्रू क्यों करेंगे? For update and delete, models has provided us method, right? We'll go for models. Whatever model we want to update, we'll use that model. With sequelize.authenticate, it's just for creating tables, not based on the data, not for data. Update and delete, when we talk about data and models. Correct? Right now I'm talking about the table creation. So sequelize.sync, it was automatically doing that, all dropping all the tables and creating new tables. So वो हमें नहीं चाहिए हर बार. एक बार हमने टेबल्स बना ली, अब हमें बार बार डिलीट नहीं करना है हमको, इसलिए sequelize.authenticate यूज किया. So sequelize.authenticate will simply test that your database is active or not. If it is active, it's everything good. That's what it will do. That's why you will see when you will run the sequelize.authenticate, it runs select 1+1 as result. So it means everything is working. So Parag is saying he has doubt. Please open middleware auth files. Okay, middleware auth files. Yeah, Parag, tell me. Which function? Is admin verify token? Which one? 27 line number. Okay. Line number 27. In my code, it is request.user ID. This line. Okay, so from the request, we are fetching the user ID. Request is our object, and from that object, we are fetching user ID. So अब तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन होगा कि user ID आई कहाँ से? Correct? That could be your question, right? Right, Parag? That was your question only. From there, yes. So that's what. This user ID is coming from verify token. So you can see here, we are assigning user ID here. We have created the user ID in request and then we are assigning this value result.id. अब तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन होगा कि रिजल्ट में आईडी कैसे आई, राइट? दैट कुड बी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाई, लाइक हाउ वी गॉट द result.id. So that we are doing in sign up, like sign in API. If we go for the sign in API in the controller, if we go for auth.js, you will see that in the sign in API, when we are creating a token, yeah, here in the sign in API, when we are creating a token, you can see we are the one only who are encrypting our user ID in ID field. So that's what, when we are decrypting this token here in this place in not jw.ts, here we are decrypting is this token, verifying it and decrypting it. So once we decrypting it, that ID only which we have defined here, yeah, the same ID which we are defining here, we are using it here in the result after decrypting, and then that ID we are assigning in user ID, request.user ID, and then we are using the same in that. That's how we are getting request.user ID. Okay, everything is start from the sign in page. Everything is starting from the sign in API. जब हम साइन कर रहे हैं उस टोकन को, और इसके बाद जैसे ही वो टोकन हमारे पास यूजर यूआई की तरफ से आया रिक्वेस्ट में, हमने उस टोकन को वेरीफाई किया, उस वेरीफाई टोकन ने हमको डिक्रिप्ट कर दिया उस आईडी को, हमने उस आईडी को यूज करना स्टार्ट कर दिया. ओके ओके Parag, request.user ID is coming from UI. From UI, token is coming to you, not request.user ID. You are decrypting that token and fetching the user ID. Okay. Let me see. Mahak has doubt in meanwhile. In the same file, you have one more doubt, line number 10. Okay. What is the doubt here, Parag? That's what, right? From the token, we have decrypted the id, and then we are assigning it to request.user id. No, it's not coming from user id. You are, this is one, like we are only assigning. In the request we can assign anything, right? Request is an object, we can assign anything here. We can assign username. We are only the one who are creating this variable, right? Username we can assign anything here in request. It's not coming. See, left side whatever is happening, it's we are only doing. Right side is the one which we are assigning, right? This is the right side is the one which we are assigning in this variable. Very simple. Parag, we, this is const request. It's an object. Okay. In this object we are assigning keys. So user id is the key. अब इस की में जब हमें वैल्यू असाइन करनी है तो हमने वाली वैल्यू असाइन कर दी, रिजल्ट डॉट आईडी. तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए वैल्यू कहाँ से आ रही है, नॉट दिस थिंग. दिस थिंग वी आर ओनली डूइंग, वी आर क्रिएटिंग दिस की, राइट? We can create any keys because request is an object. We can create username, we can create request dot user address, right? We can create many keys here. We have created user id key, one of the key as a user id. Okay, and then this, the question should be how this thing is coming, result.id. So ये आ रही है कहाँ से, जब हमने टोकन को साइन इन किया. ओके, हमने हमने उसी समय अपने आईडी में, यू कैन सी हियर, वी आर इन द आईडी, वी आर डिक्रिप्टिंग इट, and then when once we decrypt our token, verify our token, then we get this result as a payload, and then in result we have the id. Then we are assigning this result.id to our key which we have created. Got it, Parag? Understood, Parag? Yes. So now you got it, Parag, or still you have any doubt? Great. Let's see. Meanwhile, Mac error. So what is happening here? User.sync cannot read properties of undefined reading sync. User.sync force true await post.sync. Okay. So looks like okay. So dot slash model, that's also good. Dot slash models, and you are importing user and post from those models, and cannot read property. It looks like your model is not giving user and post. Can you check your model's name? It looks like it's not giving you the user and post, Mehak. That's why actually it's happening. Your model name is not correct. That's why the sync is not coming here. Got it? So check your model's name and then try to run your server again. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's come back to our discussion. So in last call, like in yesterday only, we have, I think, completed till here, right? We have tested our okay, so let's revise it very quickly, whatever we have done in last class. So so we have started with understanding the importance of testing, like how much role or how much importance a testing plays in any software or any website development, right? If we are not doing proper testing, it could cost us money, time, and trust, user loss. A lot of problems can come if you are not doing proper testing. That's what we discussed, right? And I also told you, like every enterprise applications, like in big companies, whoever is creating any applications, all are deployed to productions only after testing. Okay, these things we started discussing. Then we started talking about a TDD approach. Correct. Before TDD, we follow simply conventional way, where we write all the code, then we write the test cases for them. Correct. But TDD says that you should write test first, then you should then those tests should be failed because you do not have any coding there, you do not have any development, you have not done any development. It means you do not have any logic there to handle that code. So it means your test will fail. Once your test will fail, then you will go into the development phase. You will write things for that test to pass, and once those tests are passing, now you can refactor your code and make it like the better code or better code for production. That's what the TDD says that. Okay. And then we discuss about the BDD also, behavior driven development. Correct. So in that BDD, we discuss that it's a extension of TDD. Correct. जहां हम TDD में we simply talk about implementation part, whatever code we are going to write for any features, but and we test those particular implementation part. But in the BDD we say that we are going to test whole feature. Correct. In one feature multiple tests could come under that, and then we are saying that we are now going to test the behavior of that feature. So that's what. And in the BDD, like a lot of teams like collaborate together, like developer, QA, and like the product manager who take all the requirements. They connect together and they talk about what are the behavior, what should be the behavior for any feature, right? But in the TDD, only developer is fully responsible for writing unit test cases. Correct. That was the difference we understood about the TDD and BDD. Correct. What we did yesterday, is it kind of TDD? No, actually, if we talk about Joseph, we have already completed our development, right? Now we are going to test. Now we are going to write our test cases for that. So it looks like we are still doing conventional way, right? Where we have completed whole development. Now we are going to write the test cases for that. Okay. So after understanding that, after understood the TDD and BDD, then we started development. Like then we started understood about the framework, which provides us the easier way to write test case for our applications, right? So in Node.js, we are using the Jest framework, correct? So from there we started, and in Jest framework, we installed it, and then we made some changes in our package.json, where we did this thing, right? If I go into, it's like we've created the new folder, and in the package.json, if you remember, we written the Jest here. Earlier we written the Jest here, and then we created multiple file for test, and we want to run only one file, so we can provide like this: Jest mock test.js, and you can see only one dependency is here. And why it is in depth dependencies? Because this just package we're not going to use anywhere in the server logic part or in the development. It's the testing part. So that's why it is in the depth dependencies. Only developer has to use this just package while writing their test cases. Okay. So will this module will end? Yes. Once we will deploy, then this module will end. Okay. In meanwhile, Mac has shared some other doubts. Let's see her doubt here again. So Mac, as you can see, your model name is in small letters, right? And you are using in capital letters. So that's the first suggestion for you. Use the same model name which you are in the file. Okay. Okay. So then we understood, like once we install the Jest in our local environment. So I did that change, but it's showing not defined. I see. The other reason could be uh, it should work, right? It's saying it's not defined. So try to create a new model, Mehak, then. Try to create a new model. And then try to insert that, try to use that model as a sink. Okay. That could be the next thing which I can say here. Okay, so after that, what we did, guys, after that, we understood some of the syntax, right? How the jest is working. So if I show you one of the test files, you can see this is the way we were writing it. Everywhere we were writing, this is our test. And then this test provides like the name of that test, what this test is going to do. So right now, like testing the objects, that's what we are going to do under this test. And then it is providing us one method, one callback to us. And then you can see whatever we are doing. Like right now we are doing testing the objects. So that's what we created one object, and then we say this thing, which is very important, guys, for everyone: expect and to equal. So here we will say I am expecting like I am receiving this thing and expecting this thing. So expect data to equal this one. मतलब अगर really meaning would be like literal meaning would be like expect data equal to this one, correct? So it means I will receive this data and this data should be equal to these values, and that's what we are testing. That's how we are going to test. We can see similar here. We are saying I'm calling this sum method. I'm whatever result I'm expecting, it should not be 6. Whatever result I'm expecting here, it should not be 6. I'm saying this variable I'm expecting, this variable should not be undefined or should be undefined. That's how we were doing the testing. Okay. And I remember in last class, we stopped after testing the callback. And I told you because internally, inside this function, everything is synchronized. So while calling our callback, because this callback is going to take some time because this is asynchronous, so we should provide some done here. Like this is a done variable which we need to provide. So our execution will, like inside this test, our execution will wait till we will call the done method, till we call the done method. So that's what we did till yesterday, correct? Today we are going to do further from here. Okay, so let's see, and we will follow our slides because these slides are good and they have all the informations. Okay, so we'll follow the next slide. So next thing after callback, we are going to test the promise, correct? So let's quickly create one function which is going to return us promise. So we can write test promise. Okay, and we can say it is returning us. So first we will resolve it, right? Quickly we'll resolve it and we'll say resolver 4. Now if you want to test this promise, so we'll simply write, earlier we were testing callback, now we'll test promise. Test promise. And here we do not need to provide the then part because these promises automatically bring the then method with them, right? Test promise dot then, and we can check here like data, and we can say here expect, first forgetting the curly braces. So let me, okay, yeah, now looks good. Yeah. So expect data to be 4. That's what we are returning in then, right? We can also provide the catch here for reject or scenario also. So we can say same way error, and then we can write our expect here also. So हम ये क्या कर रहे हैं, हम कॉल बैक के, हम प्रॉमिस के रिजल्ट को टेस्ट कर रहे हैं. जो भी प्रॉमिस का रिजल्ट आ रहा है हम उसको टेस्ट कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. So if that result is good, it means our test promise is working properly, correct? So we will say there expect error dot to be, and whatever error we will provide, right? Like hey, I am error, correct? But I am right now, our promise is only returning the resolve. So I should be expecting this condition to be true, correct? Because we are resolving it in resolve every time it goes to then. So let's see there. Let's run it. Let me go to the e-commerce test quickly. Right now I'm in the another folder, backend cohort. Let me go back to the e-commerce one. Correct. And then let me check in the package.json which file we are running. So we are running mock. So let's correct that one also. Let's call callback.test.js. Correct. And let's see our test promise is correct or not. Like our test promise is working or not. Or is it giving any error to us? Let's see. So yes, you can see test promise has been working. So now let's create some error. I'm saying this data which I'm expecting, it should be 3, but I am returning 4, so I should get some error. Let's see what is the error. Okay, so it is saying, see, you can see expected 3 and received 4. So we should be providing one that try and catch here. Once we will provide that try and catch, we can catch this error also. But you can see resolve it properly working. It is going here, and then it is saying it is expecting 3 but got the 4. Right? So we will correct this thing 3 and 4. Now let's check reject also. In reject, we have to send a hey I am error. Correct? Then it should reach here. Let's see. Yes, you guys can see. This time I rejected it, and then we can see here it has our test has been passed, and it is the same error which we are returning from it. So that's how we are going to test our promises if we are going to get it anywhere. Same way async or async will also work. So rather than there, we can write the async also here, right? We can write the async here. Correct? And then rather than doing all these things, we can simply write async here also, and then we can call the await. Correct? Await test promise. And then we want to test it, we can simply do then as well. You know that, right? With then we can also do here as well. Then catch also we can provide similar way, right, guys? So that's what the promises and async await. I already discussed that. These are similar things. Are we good with promises? Yes, in callback test.js. Yes, yes. Test promise, yeah. So we are just simply calling Joseph our promise here. And then because you can see in this promise, we are rejecting it. So once we reject any promise, where it will go? It will go into the catch part. And in the catch, we are expecting our errors. We can simply put the console also. It will tell us where it is going. In catch, we can write in catch. We can write here console.log. In then, and if you want to see that, let's see that. We will see our console also. You see, in catch, क्यों जा रहा है catch में? Because we are rejecting it. Same way, if we resolve it, it will go here. And then once we are in this then part, we are checking our data. Whatever data we are returning from here, is it same or not? Okay, just so that's what we are doing. To be 4 means the data which we are returning from here. To be hey I am error, so the data which I am returning from here, right? That's what the data we are returning. That will come here in error. Okay. Let's see the next thing here. Okay, so one more thing, guys. There is like now we written multiple tests, right? You can see two tests are running here: test callback and test promise. If you only want to run test promise, then we can simply write test dot only. And if we run this file, you guys will observe. You see, only test promise got its test promise test is running, and another one got skipped. You can see one passed, one skipped. That's the feature. Sometime we need to use the only also, because in one file there could be many things, right? So that's why we need to use the test dot only there. Yes, sure, Sarad. So Sarad, the reason why we are using that done here, when we are making any asynchronous call, at that time we have to wait, right? And this scenario, like we have to wait for 2 seconds. But generally what happen, these test cases, like these callbacks run in the synchronous way. So if you are not providing done, it will simply run the whole test and it will not wait for completing this set timeout. For completing this set timeout. So that's why we are returning the done. So once you will provide the done here, so now your test case will wait till your done is called. Till your done is called. So that's why, and when this done will be called, when only this callback function will be called after 2 seconds. So that's why after 2 seconds only this done will be called. So that's the proper way to write the callback functions. Okay. When you are going to test the callback function, that's how we are going to do it. Okay. So Joseph, you can get all these things from the slides. Okay. And then write these things. It will make you, it will like give you more practice rather than I'm pasting and then you are just copy pasting everything there. You guys will not understand. If I will simply copy paste here, and then you will also copy paste, then that does not make sense anything. You have to write things as I am writing, then you will understand better. Okay, let's move further, guys. Now, okay, so now till now we are doing everything in one file, correct? Till now, everything, whatever test we are doing, whatever things we are doing, we are simply doing it in one file. Done is used so that set timeout complete its time. Yes, done is used. Set timeout will still complete his time, but your test will not go out of the context. तुम्हारा टेस्ट पूरा कंप्लीट नहीं होगा. तुम 2 सेकंड वेट करोगे, तब तुम्हारा डन डन तब तुम डन को कॉल करोगे. That's what the done is happening. Set timeout will still work. You're not changing anything in it. See, अगर तुमने डन नहीं रखा तो तुम्हारा टेस्ट अपने आप पूरा रन करके चला जाएगा, कॉल बैक का वेट भी नहीं करेगा. ओके, बट जैसे ही तुमने डन को यूज किया, इट विल नाउ वेट. Once your execution of set timeout will complete, then that callback will be called. Then you will call the done method. That's what is happening, right? After 2 seconds, you are calling this callback, and once this callback is called, internally this callback only you are calling the done method. So that's what you can see in the fetch data. You are passing the same callback, this one. Okay. Okay. So let's move further. So till now we are doing everything from the same file. So let's create one new file, and we can write add.js, right? We can export some method from here, module.export some, or add whatever method we want to write, right? And it could expect two things, right? A comma v, right? And we can return the a plus v, right? This is our method which we are exporting. So now in the callback only, let's call it. Right now, like till now we are doing all these things from the same file, right? So let's call this method const. By the way, you guys know about this, but yeah, that's fine. Let's call the add from there, right? Now let's test this thing also. So test import method testing. So expect, or we can simply call const result equal to add, and we can pass 1,2. So our result should be 3. So we will say expect result dot to be 3. Okay, guys, that's what we are going to do. And let's remove the test dot only. Let's write here test dot only. Okay, so now I think 2 tests should be running. Let's see, or we will get any error. Yeah, only 2 tests are running. Import method testing and test promise. So now it is 3. Are we good with that, guys? Say very simple things. We have imported the method and we have tested that. Are we good with that, guys? Great. So let's move further. See, whatever we did till now, I think it was very easy. It was not complex. Now I think I will say to everyone, please, I think now, yes, with the mock functions. This is very important thing, which we are going to use a lot while writing test cases for our scenarios also. Okay, which are the mock functions. Okay, so now first understand what is mocking. Okay, so you guys know about the mimicry, right? There are a lot of comedians who does the mimicry of celebrities, or like some of the famous personalities, right? So what is that? Mocking is also mimicry only, right? You are just mocking somebody, like you are mocking somebody, and you have whole control on that person. Like if somebody is mimicking like Salman Khan or any of the actress, or any of the actors, so they have whole control on them, right? They are not the real person, but they have whole control on they have whole control on actions. Like if they are doing mimicry of Salman Khan, if you have already seen some of the comedy shows, you will see somebody's mimicry of Salman Khan. They will simply do lot of different acts with just the voice of Salman Khan, or the how the Salman Khan walks, how the any of the actors walk, or how the any of the actors speak. They just copy those things, and then after that, whatever they want to do, they can do, right? Whatever, like wherever, whatever situation they want to put the any actor, they can put it, right? So why I am focusing more on the act and all those things. That's what the mocking also does. See, in the JavaScript, we have a lot of functions, somewhere, because in the JavaScript we use a lot of like third party libraries, right? Some of the functions which are interdependent also, right? Like some of, like in this scenario, callback was also there. Nobody knows what people are going to do in the callback. It means that callback, we are not aware of it, that callback. Somebody can write anything in the callback, correct? So these are some of the things in JavaScript where we have to do mocking, because we do not know what the real things is going to happen. So that's why, in simple word, mocking is, as the mocking and mimicry are same. We just copy the same things. We just mock the real scenarios of the other persons, so we can have more control on those. अगर अब तुम सलमान खान से सब कुछ नहीं करा सकते. We cannot say to Salman Khan, do this, do this, do that. No, we cannot do that, right? We cannot, in the similar way, we cannot test directly all the original functions, all the third party libraries. We cannot test all those things. Somebody has already written third party libraries. Now you cannot make any changes there, so you have to mock those things, correct? That's what the mocking is all about. So you will simply mock some of the things, and once you will mock those things, you have full control on those, correct? So that's why, in mocking is very important concept in testing. All the things which we are going to write for our program, for our project also, we are going to do lot of mocking. Okay, so are we good with the mocking part, guys? I think I have very good very good article also about the mocking. So I will just paste this thing. You guys can later read it. I will also take some examples from there. Okay, there are very nice videos they have also provided for the mocking only. Okay, so see guys, first understand theoretically ki when we have to use the mocking, correct? So reason for using mocking, when we do not want to call any original functions, we will simply mock them, and once we mock them, we will have full control on that mocking, on that function. Okay, whatever we want to return from that function, whatever variable we want to pass, whatever the value we want to pass, everything we can do. Okay, or even we can also track the calls for those functions, like how many times that function has been called, how like with what variable this function has been called. All these tracking we can do with the mocking. Just try to relate this mocking with the mimicry. In the mimicry, like if I am doing mimicry for 1 minute, guys. Yeah, if I'm doing, not sure this will restart my machine or not, but yeah, we'll see. So if I'm doing mimicry of anything, I'm not the real person, but now if I'm doing the mimicry, I can do anything, correct? So that's what the mocking also does. So did you guys understood what the mocking does in the theoretically? Yes. So is only Likit has understood theoretically? What about others? Okay, so let's see some more examples for the mocking part, and it's very important concept. So I think in the just provide three ways to us to do mocking. Okay, one is just.fn, second is just.spy on, and third one is just.mock. So I think the top two, and like the most of the most like which we are going to use, which is the just dot spy on. That one we are going to use lot. And the first one also we are going to use, and the third one we are going to use very less, mostly based on the use cases. So we will see scenarios one by one. So our code gonna mimic functions of JS libraries. Yes, correct. Definitely. See, very simple example. Wow. If you want to test the product controller, okay, guys, let's see this example. If you want to test the product controller, so in the product controller, how many methods we have? Create product, update product, delete product, all those things, right? अब क्या अब जब तुम क्रिएट प्रोडक्ट को टेस्ट कर रहे होगे तो क्या तुम हर बार प्रोडक्ट नया क्रिएट करते जाओगे डेटाबेस में? If you are testing every time create product controller, will you want do you want to create every time new product? No, right? So you will mock the product.create method. You will mock that product.create method and you will return your result. You will not connect with database at that time. You will mock product.create method and then you will return the result based on your whatever result you want to send. So you will simply test how the product controller create product method is working. But let me share my screen, guys. If I go into this part in the controller for the product, and if you want to test the create product, you can see here in the create product, we are making one call, right? This await product dot create, which is for making this call, our database should be there, right? Our model should be there, and then I think it should do the operations also, which will be asynchronously. So rather than doing all those things, what we will do, we will simply mock this method. We'll simply mock this method and we will return the result, whatever result we want. And then that result will be assigned here and then we can test that result. Correct? That's what the testing is. Testing means because we are writing unit test. In unit test, the meaning of unit test, you should write minimum code to test your functionalities. करेक्ट. अब डेटाबेस से कनेक्ट करना और डेटाबेस के मॉडल को प्रोडक्ट डॉट क्रिएट को हमें टेस्ट नहीं करना है. हमें प्रोडक्ट डॉट क्रिएट कैसे काम कर रहा है उसको नहीं टेस्ट करना है. हमें टेस्ट करना है कि हाउ द क्रिएट प्रोडक्ट मेथड इज वर्किंग, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई वी विल मॉक प्रोडक्ट डॉट क्रिएट मेथड बिकॉज वी डोंट वांट टू टेस्ट दैट मेथड, वी वांट टू टेस्ट द क्रिएट प्रोडक्ट मेथड. सो उसके इंटरनली जो भी कॉल्स हो रही हैं उन सबको हम मॉक कर लेंगे. Okay, guys, so we'll show that those examples, but I just want to show you the where we are going to use these mocking features in our project. So that's where all the database call we will mock product.create, product.update, product.find one, everything we will mock. So that's why I was saying the mocking is going to be used very much in our scenarios. Okay, so let's see how the mocking does. So there are three ways we do the mockings. Okay. So let me create a new file in the e-commerce test and we will start doing mocking. Let's delete everything first. Yeah, so let's create a new file name with mock.test.js. Okay, and in packet.json change the name to mock.test.js. Okay. Okay, guys, are you able to see my screen? Yeah. Okay, great. So see, the first way to mock any method. So let's write one test first. Okay. Test mock function. So there is three type of mocking which happens, right? I told you one way is just.fun, just.fn. It will create one mock function for you. Second, I remember is spy-on. I think that's also just.spy-on. And third one is just.mock, which will mock. Now we'll understood the differences between them. So first, let's understood the just.fn. Let's create simply const mock function. It has created the default mock function. Right now we are not using this mock function anywhere. We just simply created this mock function here. Okay. And now this mock function will return us undefined. So we can check this. Expect mock function. If we call this mock function now, once time, because this is function, right? We can call it, which is mock function. Right now it is not mocking anyone, correct? मतलब क्या हुआ कि अभी हमने सिर्फ एक मॉक फंक्शन बना लिया है, बट हमने उसको बताया नहीं कि किसको मॉक करना है. ओके, वी हैवंट टोल्ड दिस मॉक फंक्शन टू मॉक व्हाट. सो राइट नाउ वी आर सिंपली checking how the mock function looks like. Okay guys, so see this, if so you need to remember these things. So first time when you will call the mock function, it will always return the undefined. So we can check there, to be undefined. The result of this mock function would be undefined. We can, oh, we haven't taken the result. To be undefined. Because we are not returning anything, right? To be undefined. Oh, we write it like this, right? Let me check. Okay. So we need to provide the curly braces also. Okay, so let's check this thing. So node npm run test, sorry. Okay, so we are getting one error. So what is this error? Cannot find module helper. Oh, it has taken this one also. 1 minute, guys. Let me change the name. One minute, guys. Yeah. You can see it has been passed, because by default, once we call the mock function, it just returns as to be undefined. Okay. Now let's now if you want to, we can check more things, like we can check the track. I told you, right? We can track also. So we can track expect result to have been called. These are some of the methods. I also didn't remember, so let me check those methods, guys, very quickly. We have these methods which we can check with these. Yeah, to have, yeah, this one, to have been called times, correct? So we can simply check how many times this mock has been called, mock function. We know that we have only called mock function once, so we can just simply check these values. You see, test is passing. If we provide 2, if we call it one more time, this mock function here, if we call is one more time, this result should be false. Let me run it. You see, expected number of call once, but received number of call 2. So these are the things mocking is already providing to you. We can track how many times they have been called, and other things are, more things are there. We'll check one by one. And we can also check with what variables they have been called. So right now you can see in this example, they haven't provided any variables. So they are saying simply they haven't, there is no variable, correct? Now they can also return some default values like this mock. I also don't remember the whole name, so I'm just copying. That's why, guys. So we are saying mock return values once. So that's what, guys. You also have to do these things. You just understand the concept, how these mockings are working. You don't need to remember these things, because there are very less chances you guys will get chance to work on the testing side. But if you got chance to work on testing, you guys should know about the terminologies and how the mock things are working. Do not need to remember everything. Okay, so let's see. So now what we are saying, with this mock function, we will return this value once. So let's see, hello, or we can say simple first return, right? We can call one more time the same. This will be written second time. We can say here second return. Now guys, you guys can see I am calling with hello value, hello, or first value, correct? And you will see now this error will, now the result will not be undefined, because now it is returning something. So that's why this line will throw error for us. So it could be not to be undefined. We can write dot not to be undefined. Now this will be true because now this will not be undefined. Now we can also check the result. Expect result dot to be what the first return. This will be the value first return. Guys, you see what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you that we have full control on this mock function. We have full control on mock function. Whatever we want to return, we will return those things only. See, I'm calling with first value, but I'm returning this thing. I will show you. See, to be first return, and I can also check with what value it has been called. Let me check one more time, because we are returning two times, right? Let's call result 2 also, because we are calling mock function two times now, first time and second time. So we can say second call value. We are passing something else, but we will get something else here, and that's what we will get, which we are returning from here. Second return. Okay, so we can write result 1, we can write result 2, correct? And we can say here, now we do not need this line actually, because now there is two results, right? So we can simply remove it. Now we can say the mock function has been called two times, right? So this is two. So first let's check this thing, then we will test other scenarios also. You can see both scenarios has been passed. So it means we are returning the first return here, then means we are returning the second return here when we are calling the second time. If you will console these things, you will get second return and first return. Now there is one method also, with that you can check with what values we are passing. So let me check that method also. Yeah, this one, to have been called with. So this will tell us that what values it has been called with. You can see first time we have called with first value, so we can write first value here. Second time we have called with second value, so we can write second value here. Everything we can track, everything we can check. This time it will also pass, but it is failing. So let's check why. Mock is not defined. Oh, okay, mock is not defined. Our function name is mock function, not mock. Okay, this time it will pass. You can see this time it has been passed. Correct, guys? So what I want to show you here, guys, this is the mock function which we have created, and now we have full control on that mock function. What we want to return, what we want to if somebody is passing something else, we don't care about it. We will simply return whatever we whatever we have set to return. We can also track how many times we have called, or with what values we have been called. Everything we can check. Okay, so are we good with the mock function? Let me show you one more example. Let's see how we use these mock functions. Correct. So let's take one example. Let's create one function which is mentioned in the slides also, and that example is for each. So consider this for each method you want to test, which is taking items and which is taking callback. Okay, and then here what you are doing, let I equal to 0, I less than items dot length, and I plus plus. And what are you doing? You're just simply passing that callback and this items I. Correct. So each item you are passing in the callback. Now you want to test this function, guys. अब बताओ मुझे, do you know what is going to happen in callback? Because this callback is now whoever is going to call for each, that person will only tell about that the callback, like the callback, whatever callback they have to do, whatever they are going to do, they will only tell. Correct? You do not have any control on the callback. That's why the mocking help us, because this callback is not dependent, and this code, but this callback is dependent with this function. If you want to test this function, you have to somehow call callback. Correct. So what we will do, let's see. Let's create another test. Let's remove everything. Let's test for each function. test for each function. Correct. So now let's again create a new new callback, and we will say that mock callback. Okay. Same way, just.fn. Correct. Now just.fn. So now let's pass this callback to this do this method. Okay. So let's call for each. Let's pass one array 1 comma 2, and then simply pass the mock callback. Okay, we are not doing anything in this mock callback till now, but let's see, we are passing it. So now we can simply first check, expect how many times this mock callback has been called. It has to be called 2 times, right? Because we are passing 1 comma 2, this array, this callback has to be called 2 times, right guys? So let's check. 2 have been called times. It should be 2. Let me see, is it giving us correct result or not? Yes, you can see it is passing because this callback has been called 2 times. Okay, now you understood with the example how this mock callback is helping us. That's how the mock callback. Now you know you can implement also. Now you can return result also. Like you can simply implement something here. Like whatever values is coming here, you can simply do x plus 4, right? So now this callback is taking these values and adding x plus 4 there. So right now, if I simply where should I do console? That's what I'm thinking. So if I do console here, so I think I will get the values also. Let me check. Let's see. If I'm doing console there, I should now make the changes there. But let's see, some errors are there. X is equal to x plus, oh, sorry, I've written wrong way. This should be function, right? X. Sorry for that. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, you can see I was passing 1, it has become 5. I was passing 2, it has become 6. Correct? And now we can check these values also. Now we can check these values also. So now for that, I think we need to check there. See, syntax is little bit difficult, but we have to remember all these syntax actually. Yeah, you can see mock, this one already checked. Yeah, I think this one. Mock callback dot mock dot result 0 dot value. Yeah. So yeah, this is like little bit difficult to remember these things, but yeah, you can get all these things in their documentation. What is this mock callback and that mock dot result 0 dot value. You can check there. It should be 2b, and it should be 5, right? The first value should be, because we are passing 1 and adding 4, it should be 5. npm run test. Let me see. Is it giving us error or it is giving us error? So let's see why. Cannot read property 0 of undefined. So something is wrong here. So mock callback is there, mock is there, result is there. So we are using the same syntax, right? Results. Okay, results. We are not using the same syntax, guys. It's results. So now it should work. Yeah, now it is working, right? You can see this expect also got passed. So that's what, guys, we can simply do a lot of things with these callback functions. And I will show you that how we are going to use these callback functions. Yeah, this one also, see mock return value once. I think we have already seen this thing, but yeah, let's see one more time. So like if you want to see here only, we can do here also, right? This is this. Yeah, I think we can write here also. Mock return value once, and we will write it like text. Guys, what I'm expecting here, I'm expecting rather than it will return 5, it should return text to us. Because I'm saying first time return text, then do this logic. So let me check. Is it giving text to us or not? Let me check this thing. Yeah, guys, you can see that's what we have full control on that callback. this callback should return like this logic, right? This logic x plus 4. But no, we have full control on this. Whatever we want to return, we can simply return it. Now if we call this callback second time, I think, yeah, like if we check the second value, let's see. If we check the second value, I think we should get, now I think we should get, I think 1 plus 2, 1 plus 4, 5. Let's see. Now basically, I think we should get 5. Let me check. Is it the correct or not? No, we are failing. So, okay, so it has skipped the first part. It is giving now directly 6. So it has skipped the first part. It is directly taking the second one. So it is giving now 6 to us. So that's how, guys, the mock functions work. I know it is a little bit confusing, but the reason for mock functions are just have full control. Just have full control on the functions, whatever you want to do. Okay, we'll see more examples on that. But now let's jump into the second one, is spy on also. Okay, let's jump into that one also. It's also similar to the just.fn, but it has some more benefits. So let's for that we will call, like, in this we will use the same example. Let's add one more here, subtraction a comma b, right? We can write a minus b. We can do multiplication also, a comma b. We can multiply a comma b. Okay, that's what we are exporting, right? Let's create one more file, which could be index.js or simply main.js. Yeah, where we will require all the things from there. Const, because we want to spy the internal function. That's why we are making two calls here. Add.js. Okay, and let's export the same thing from here also. Module.export, and we'll write do add. It will also take the same two variables, a comma b, and but it will internally call these methods: add, subtract, multiply. So this is internally calling these methods: add, passing a comma b, correct? And then do subtract, a comma b, and then let's call sub a comma b, correct? And let's do mul also, do multiplication a comma b, and let's call the multiplication method also. Okay, guys. So we are exporting three things from here. Okay. So why this is giving error? Oh, okay. A comma b. Right. So now we have created two files, guys. Okay. One is add.js, which is also providing these methods, and then one more top of that, where we are calling these methods which are exporting from add.js as a internal function, add sub mul. Okay. So now let's jump into our mock file again. Correct. So now we are going to use a just.spy on. So now what we'll do, first import all those files here also. Const, like, add the main file, add all the object will be here, or we can simply do this also, add sub mul, correct? Okay, and then we will also call the main file, and we will take their methods also, do add, do multiply, do subtraction. Okay, now let's look into the spy one scenario. Okay, so let's first create one test. Okay, yeah. So testing is spy on method. Okay. So let's see here. So how the syntax is for spy on? We just need to do just dot spy on. I will check the syntax once, and you need to provide what are the things you want to spy on here. You have to tell. So you will tell I want to spy on do add method, right? And I want to add inside do add. I want to spy on add method, correct? Because in do add we are calling the add method only. So you want to spy on this method, correct? Let me check the syntax 1 minute, guys. I have taken the example from here only, so you guys can later on check this page also. Yeah, so we have created these two things. So let me check the spy one quickly, guys. Yes. So math, they have taken it as a math file, and we have taken as a main file, and we are simply doing the yes. Yeah, we are correct here. Correct. So so we are what we are saying in the do add method. We want to spy on add method. Correct. Because this is the internal dependencies of the add method. So let's now check this thing from here also. First, let's check const add mock or add like because here also we are doing the mocking, so we are good here. Let's now call this do add. Do add. Let's call it with 1 comma 2, right? 1 comma 3 or 1 comma 2, right? And now you guys we can simply check how many times the add method has been called. So we can check expect add mock who have been called times 1, because one time it will only be called, correct? So let me check this is working, or let me do test dot only, so this test will only run. So it is failing, so let me check first. Can't spy that property because it's not a function undefined given in state. uh, it is saying that we cannot test the, let me check here. Are we doing something wrong here? Just dot spy on here. Okay, so we have taken uh, hmm. 1 minute, guys. Okay, so they are taking whole object and then doing the spying on that. Okay, so you know, guys, what they are doing? They are taking the whole object like this. So we can simply take add here, whole object, and then we can do here like 1 minute. So we can say here add object, correct? Or wait 1 minute, we can say the correct name here, which could be test object, something like that, test object. Yeah, and we can simply spy on this test object, because this test object is giving three methods to us. If I go into the add.js, you can see it is giving three methods to us: add, sub, and null. So we are now spying on the add method, like the add method. So that's what we are saying here. In the test object, spy on the add method. Correct. That's how the syntax for spy on there. You have to provide the object here, and then in that object, whatever the keys are there, you can spy on that one. Okay. So we have what we did test object, and we are saying that we are going to spy on the add method. Correct. So now let's see. Is it still giving error to us? Okay. Is it still giving, what is this error this time? Expected number of calls 1, received number of calls 0. So okay, it is saying, but it should call, right? Because I am calling do add, and do add should call internally add method, right? So what is happening? Hmm. So see, guys, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to spy on add method, right? And I'm saying, and when I'm calling do add method, I am expecting this like from the do add method internally, this add method should be called, right? And then we should get the result here. But it looks like I'm doing some mistakes. So let me check the syntax here first. So yes, they are calling do add also, and they are calling that also. Okay, let's see the values. Let's see the values are coming correctly or not. Then we will see this line. This line is giving errors to us. We'll check. But let's see the result which is coming from here. Is it coming correct for us or not? Then we'll see further. So expect result dot to be. What should be result here? 4. Then we see if this is happening or not. Okay. So result is working properly. Then why this ad is not being called? It is saying has been called 0 time only. Oh, I see, guys. I see. Why it is happening? Because we are not calling add mock. We are calling add method. See, simply meaning here, we are not calling that mock method. We are simply spying on it. Correct? Ah, okay. Understood, guys. See, the reason is why we are not getting anything here for the add mock because we are not calling add mock. We are simply right now spying on the method, and we can get some of the details of get some details of the add method only. So let's see. So expect add mock to have been called with. Like this is the method. Let me check what is the method to have been called with, right? Yeah, to have been called with. We can check here the values as they are checking here 1 comma 3. 1 comma 3. If I run this, we are still getting error. What is this? Add mock to have been called with. I think something is wrong in our case. Let me check. To have been called with 1 comma 3. That's true, right? And hmm, add mock is not giving properly result to us. Expected one. Oh, this is expecting 1 comma space 3. I think that's why expected 1 of 3, number of calls 0, right? So expected 1 comma 3, number of calls 0. 1 minute, guys. Let me see if this works. No, right? Okay, so 1 comma 3 is expected. Okay, number of calls is coming as 0. I am also not sure why it is giving us a 0. Okay, that's fine. Let's understood some more things, which is how we can change the math, like how we can change the implementation of it. Right now, it is doing the implementation with the original method, which whatever it is happening, right, which is doing this part, correct. But we cannot change the implementation for it also. And for that, I think they have given method add mock dot mock implementation. Let me check the syntax also. Yeah, add mock dot mock implementation. This part, add mock dot mock implementation. So now, guys, now when we will call do add, we will not get that 4. We will not get the 4. We will get this mock value. Let me show you. Now we have called do add 3. Our result should be this mock, not the 2 comma 3. Let me check. Is it working or not? Or is it also failing? Let me first comment out the last line because this one is failing for us. Let me check this line. Okay, this one is also failing. We are definitely doing something wrong. And what is that? That's I'm not able to understand. So it is not taking add mock properly. Are we using the wrong spelling or anywhere? Jest is there, but spy on is there, test object is there, add is there. Okay, we are just taking this is a different way. Let me change this also if this is the one who is causing the issue. So main dot to add. Okay, let's see this time. Yeah, it's still failing, right? Hmm. Mock implementation. So that this is correct, right? Which is the mocking here and the main dot to add. So main dot to add we called with 1 comma 3, right? If I go to the main dot to add, so it is expecting two variables, right? Then it is calling add, and we are spying on this method, right? So we are spying on this method. So it is not still working, right? Okay, guys. So I think I will check this part. Why it is not working? We will not invest some of more time on this thing, because see, the purpose of spy on is it will like similar the mock function. Same with the spy on. Also, we do the mocking, but just some differences are there in spy on. So the differences are like we can with the just.fn we cannot call the earlier one, like we cannot call the original implementation. Whatever implementation we are providing, it will go with that only. Like if I show you in the just.fn here, right, we have implemented this thing, right, x express 4. It will every time call this one only. It will not, like if some logic is written here, it will not call that one. But in the case of just.spy on, it will like till now you will add the your implementation, it will still take the original implementation. Or even after you have changed the mock implementation, after you have changed that method implementation, you can still roll back that. There is one method for that. If I share my screen, if I'm already, you guys are saying, you can see the mock restore, this method. So it will restore. I'm not sure why it was not working for me, but as you guys can see here, uh, let me check with 2 equal. Might be uh, 2v or 2 equal could be the difference. That's why it's not working. Let me check with 2 equal also. But yeah, it is not working actually. 2 equal will also not work. Yeah, because add mock is giving some problem in my scenario. Expected mock but received 4. Yeah. So some problem is there. But yeah, you can see this example, guys, here. As in this example, let me increase the size. You can see here, they are just spying on this method, math add. Then they are implementing their own implementation, add mock. And then you can see they are calling the same do add 1 comma 2 as I am calling do add 1 comma 3. And then simply they are saying the result is not going to original implementation. It is going to the mock implementation and returning us the mock here. And then if we call the mock restore again, mock restore, it is again coming back to our own one. Correct? You can see again it is giving the original result. That's what the difference between the jest.fn and the spy one. Okay, because the difference is here, the in spy on we can go back to the original one also. Otherwise both are same, just.spy on or just.fn, both are similar. So guys, did you understood little bit about these two things, just.spy on and just.mock? I know just.spy on didn't work properly in my code, but did you understood little bit about these things, just.fn and just.spy on? Or do you guys have any doubt? You guys let me know. Anyone? Joseph, Sarath, Likhit? I've already shared this article. Vishal, let me share it again. Not this one. This one you're saying? Oh yeah, yeah. I know. It's also new for me as well because these things, mocking and all those things, we have. But yes, as a tester, we have to do all these things. Okay. So guys, I think we will understand more about this once we will start implementing our own code, right? So I think that's what from the yesterday's class where we are trying to do the mocking these things. Let's now jump into today's session. Okay, then we'll start little bit more understood little bit more of these things. Okay, okay, guys. Let's move into today's class and let's try to use these features whatever we learned in today's for testing for our application. Okay, then we will understood little bit more about this. Can we have breaks? Okay, before going for break, Let's do the setup and then we will go for break. Okay, let's do the setup. So now everyone come back to your backend cohort folder, the main folder. Come back to the backend cohort one. Okay, everyone come back to the backend cohort one. The original one, and let's move into the session 7 branch. Okay, we are still in the e-commerce. 1 minute. One minute, guys. I'm just doing the branch and all those things. So let me first provide you the branch for session 7 also. So all the code will be there. Yeah. I know these things are a little bit difficult to understand, but yeah, it is less used actually. That's why, as a developer, we work very little on those things. But yeah, I will try my best to explain all the things in like simple language so you guys can understand. I know this thing like spy on and mock, because see, spy on and mock, spy on definitely I am telling you, you will understand, because we are going to use the spy on in many places. So I'm sure you will understood the spy on. Okay. See, not to give much preference. Yeah, not much, but yes, you should know about these things. Like in interviews, people ask very less questions on testing frameworks, but they simply ask, "Have you written any unit test?" So you guys can say, "Yes, I have written unit test case. I know about the mocking things. I know that some of the methods we use for mocking. I know like we do not want to like every time connect with the real database or real logics. We have the mocking methods there. We can use these things. That's how you that's what you need to remember in the interviews. And while implementing, when you are in project, then at that time you should be knowing about the methods also, because in some scenarios your manager can say to you that go and write the test for the test case for that. In those scenarios you should remember the methods also. Okay, so let's do the initial setup. So first let's create the test folder in the backend cohort. In the root place, create the test folder. Okay, inside test folder, let's create two folders. We are going to do testing for controllers and routes. Let's create two folders under the test. I think we'll follow the things which they are doing here in the main repo. Let me follow their structure. So they are providing a unit, okay, but that's fine. That's fine. No problem. We can follow our own structure also. So let's create a controller, and then let's create one more folder called routes. Okay, so we'll do the testing for two things. So we will in the controller we will start with product.controller. We can write simply product dot controller also, no problem. Controller dot test dot js, right? In similar way for routes also we'll do the testing for product dot routes dot test dot js. Okay, this is the file you need to create, and then let me install some of the packages for you guys. So npm install. I think we haven't installed the jest here. So first install, because these all will be in that step dependencies. So jest cross env. I will explain you, and super test. These are the three modules you need to install in backend cohort. Okay. In our folder, in our original project, install these libraries. Everyone first run these command. test, cross env, and super test. These three libraries we will use in our while writing our test cases. Okay. And the purpose of cross env is the purpose for using the cross env. It just like in different machines, the node modules variables, it the languages reads in different way. Correct? Because yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. So what happened somewhere in Unix, you have to write you write the slashes like when you're writing the folder structure, they go with backslash like this. Correct? In Windows, it goes with like this, the forward slash, the folder structure. So every OS has different structure to write the folders or to access the environment variables. So that's why cross env solves all those problems, and like whatever OS or whatever machines you are using, cross env will read your node underscore env variable from anywhere. So that's why we use the cross env package. If I open the cross env, cross underscore env npm, you see it sets and use environment, not giving much information. Yeah, it's giving me now. You can see most Windows command prompt will choke when you set environment variables like with node underscore env production, because somewhere they use dollar underscore nvvr, somewhere they use in Windows we use like this mod and env underscore var. So that's why cross env solves all those problems based on your OS. If it is using POSIX or any other Windows, it will just solve internally all those problems and provide you node underscore VNV. Node underscore env it will set, right? Till now we are setting it through here, node underscore env, but cross env will automatically set it for your all your environments. Correct? We can set it through the .env also, or with the help of cross env also. Both places. Okay, that's why we are using the cross env. Under test folder, you created controller and routes. Yes, because we are going to test controller and routes. Let me post these changes. Now we can go for break. Test setup. Yeah, I have posted the changes in uh, session 7 branch. Okay, now we can go for 15-minute break. We can come back at 11:41. Okay, 15-minute timer. Is everyone back? Sunil has one doubt, so let's see his doubt. So it looks like, Sunil, it's again your connectivity. They are not, see this URL, HTTP Artifactory QA, dep QA, this URL is not allowing you to make request. It's clearly saying this is a problem related to network connectivity. It seems like your system, like your organization is not allowing. You have to check with your, I think you are using your computer, right? Like office computer, right, Sunil? So office laptop or is it personal laptop? Personal. Okay, in personal also you are getting this error. Okay, so you are trying to install npm install dev just cross can be super test. Okay, your parser. Okay, try again. Then try again, Sunil. Okay, sure, Joseph. This is the code. We have created two files, and we will start from product.controller. Okay. Okay, guys. So before starting, I think there are some of the things which you need to understand. We have already installed cross env and jest, right? There is one term called interceptor, right? So what is the need of interceptor? That's what I'm going to explain here. So guys, it's a need for, I got this many times in previous classes also, sir. And after that, this works. Which Node.js version you are using, Smir? It could be possible. I think it is possible with Node.js is having some problem in your system. Can you try to uninstall Node.js and try to install it again? The latest version or Node.js 14 also is fine. And then check these things. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about the interceptor. Okay, so see guys, the what is the like need for interceptor? Because if you remember, if we are going to test our controller, right, the product controller. So what product controller wants? All the controllers methods only wants two things: request and response, right? And these request and response are coming from where? These requests and response are coming from our routes, right? We are calling, we are passing. If I go for the product, we are calling these methods here, and then automatically request and response are going from there. Correct? But while testing, we are not going to pass request and response through the routes flow. We are directly going to call this method create product. We are directly going to test this create product or get all product, get production on ID, update product, delete product. We are directly going to test these controller methods, right? We are not testing our routes right now, right? We are not testing our route, like the testing our code through routes. So that's why we need to create these dummy request and response there. So that's what the interceptor files does. If I show you the interceptor files, you can see we have created mock request and mock response, two objects, two keys here. In the mock request, as you can see, we are taking request as empty object. We are simply, we'll send the, and in the body, we are see simply, you remember this mock return value? So now body and params Wherever we will call the body and params, we are already mocked those things. We have already mocked these functions and we are simply returning the request from there. Okay, guys, if I'm writing this line, just dot fn mock return value request, so what will happen here? The thing will happen, whoever is calling request.body or request.params as a method, they will get the mock functions, and automatically default value request will come. And what is the default value? Which is the empty object. So automatically request.body will become empty and request.parents will also become empty. And we have the mock return, we have created the mock function, so we can track also like what are the values which we are passing in response to request.body, what are the values we are passing in request.params, how many times request.body has been called. These things we can do with the help of mock functions. Correct? So this is our interceptor file where we are creating our dummy request and dummy response for our controller methods. Okay, so first thing, this file we will create. Okay, so let's create the interceptor.js file in our test folder only. In our test folder on root, in our test folder, we will first create the interceptor.js. Interceptor.js. The meaning of interceptor is just to create some dummy things. Okay, guys. So just to create the dummy things. So let's create the let's export these two things. Module.exports. First we'll mock request. We'll return in this. This will be the mock request, and similar way we have the mock response also. These are the two keys which we are returning from here, right? And then these two keys will be returning one function from here. It is like this. Correct? Inside this function, we have one rec object, and in this rec object, which is empty, because we are just simply हम इसलिए इसको empty भेज रहे हैं. The reason for, we can change whatever we want, whatever body we want to set, we can simply set that. Correct? So that's why right now it's empty. Then we will later on change these things. So request.body. Mostly we are going to use body and params. Test.fn and then mock return. What is the mock return value? And then we will pass the request only. The same empty thing. Request.params. Same line. अच्छा, तो रिस्पॉन्स में क्या क्या होता है? इन रिस्पॉन्स, first thing I think would be response dot send. Send will be there. Every time we have to call the send, and we can call the same thing here. We can mock the send method also. Response. And then I think we have status also there, right? Let me check. Yeah, status and JSON. Okay. Status we can also mock, and then we can mock the, sometimes we are sending the JSON also. Even we are not sending, we are just simply mocking it. Okay. So these two things we are mocking from here. And the reason for that, because we are not going through the routes folder. We are simply going to mock the product controller. Okay. So that's what we will do here. Let's now look into the other thing. So before that, guys, let's in our packet.json, let's write the jest here. Okay. Let's write the jest here. So now it will be able to read the files here. So let's simply create one test. We can check like is it working properly or not? The flow is working or not? First test. Expect 4 to be 4. Correct? And same for, like we can write first route test. Same we can copy here. We can write first controller test. I will just correct it, but I'm just checking that I can, after running npm run test, is it working or not? Yeah, both tests has been passed. So it means it has taken the files from both folders under the test folder. Correct, guys? So let me post this change and let me see you guys are able to do the same thing or not. I will wait for 1 minute. You guys just copy the changes from there and just run the npm run test. Change the changes in, change the package.json. In test, write the jest there. And in product.route, create these two, copy these two tests. And let's check, is it working for you or not? Everyone please do that. Then we will see the next thing. Okay, guys. Anyone done that? Vishal, Likhit, Sunil. Sunil is facing some problems with installing. Joseph. Okay, please do that. Yeah. You need to change the packet.json as you test changes for e-commerce test and in product test.route and in the product route.test and product controller.test. Copy the, create a simple test case which I created. So just check from a while triggering while running npm run test, are you able to see those tests or not? That's what. See, I've created these two files, right? And I've just written simple test there, first controller.test and product route.test. Please do that and let me know in the chat quickly. Everyone done that? Yes, in packet.json, in a script, you need to put the, as you did yesterday, right? Same thing. Yesterday you did in another project. Now you are doing in your own main project. Test is equal to just here. Okay. So when you are running npm run test, are you able to see both two tests are passing? Great, Likit. For Deep also it worked. For Riyaz also it worked. Great. So now guys, let's start from the product controller.test.js. Okay. So now when we are writing test in our applications, so Jest has provided one more better way to us. So just say that you they have provided one describe and it to us, like similar to the behavioral testing. We can write that describe. In describe, let me show you how we write it. Describe, not like this. Till now we were using the test, right? Okay. I don't know from where it is taking these things. Yeah. So in the describe, now we will write product controller testing. Product controller testing. Right? And this inside this describe, there could be many tests. Inside this describe, there could be many tests. And we will write those things with it. This is the syntax which they follow. And now we will first write our test. Now here we can write our multiple tests here. So right now, like first we will test the create product. So test create product controller. Test create product controller. Let me run it and let me first show you how this looks like. The same way. This it is same as test. As we are writing the test, similar way it is also we can write here. Right? And when we can simply say expect 4 dot to be 4. Let me show you how this looks like. No. npm run test. Just the syntax wise it is different. Otherwise, everything looks same. Okay. So like the better way to write things, because now into the product controller testing, a lot of tests we are going to write inside it. Correct. So that's why we have done it. So like this will be the parent class. Parent inside this there could be multiple things. Okay, guys. So now, before that, can you please send me the download link of Node? Yeah, you can go to Node original website, Node.js. You can download it from here, the 16 version. Okay, Sunil? Okay, guys. So before that, let me give you one repo from where we are going to follow all the test cases. I am only going to show you the product one, but all the three are also there in this repo. In today's class, we will only look into the two scenarios because all the tests are similar. Once you understood the product.controller, you will be able to create the same all three also. And today, first we will create the controller for test cases for controller. Then we will create the test cases for routes folder also. One of the routes that will be product route. So that's why I'm sharing this repo to you. So you guys can open here this repo and then simply you can look into these repos also. Okay, just for reference. Correct? Okay, so let's now first import our product controller because that's what we are going to test it, right? First, so let's import require, yeah, this is the controller folder, right? Yeah, controller folder slash product, right? Now we can open this product.js here, correct? Now you can see this is our controller. This is the method which we are exporting. We are exporting 5 or 6 methods, right? Filter based on product, this one. First, we are going to test the create product. Correct? This method we are going to test. So now you can see this method requires two things, request and response. That we will get. Let me take the first create product here. So now we have get the create product also. And now let's take the models also. Because the product model is also there, right? Internally, product is also calling product model also, right? So let's import this one also. Require. Let's go to the models folder. Similar way, as we gone to the controller, similar way we can go for model also. And then which model we want? We want the product model. Correct? Product model. Okay, so now as I was saying, this product method create product need two things, request and response. For that we will use our interceptor. So we will import the interceptor here. Require, and we can simply call the interceptor here. Or it's outside. Interceptor.js. It will provide us two things, right? Mock request, mock response. Correct? Now we can take two variables. Let request, or we can take this inside also, inside the describe. That's fine. Let request. For all the test cases, this variable will be there. Let request, let response. And you guys remember, I have given you like this method before each, where we can simply set our this particular hook will run every time before any of the test cases are running, right? So here we can simply set these methods, these variables with the mock request. mock request, and we can also set the response with mock response. Okay, guys. So what we did till now, we have imported some of the files which we needed for testing, like the create product, because we are going to test that one. Because create product is also using products, so we just imported products for mocking purpose. We will not use any of the product.create here. Product.create already is happening here, but we have to somehow not make this call. So that's why we will mock this product. We will put the spy on method on this one. Correct? And then what we did, because the create products also need request and response, for that we already created one interceptor file which will have the mock request and mock response. And right now request and response all are empty. Request and response all are empty, because if I go into the interceptor file, I am simply oh, I am not returning the response. 1 minute. I'm not returning the response from here. 1 minute, guys. Return request and return response. I was not returning it from here. Okay, so I'm just simply returning request and response from here, and which are empty. You can see this is empty, and body and parents are coming with the mock functions, and where those also have the empty values. Correct? Those also have the empty values. Okay, so that's what till now we did. Now let's do the next part. Let's now, because now if we see this thing in the product, it needs 4 things, right? Name, description, cost, quantity, category ID. So we need to create the test data for also for this. So let's create the test payload for this. So like const test payload equal to, let's create, first is the name. We can create any name like Sony TV. This is our product, right? And there was category ID also. Same name should be there, guys. Whatever the values with the product.js, because we are going to test this thing also only, right? Let's remove the interceptor. Description about TV. Correct. Next could be, what is the next thing? Cost. Okay. So we are going to test the create controller part. 234. Then quantity. These all of the things we need to pass in body, right? Quantity, 112, 12, and then what is the next thing? Category ID. Category ID could be 1, right? Could be 1, right? This is our test payload. And guys, how we are accessing the test payload? We are accessing through the request.body only. So it means I need to assign this payload in request.body only. So request.body equal to payload, test payload. Correct? That's what we have to do, right? Request.body is equal to test payload. Now the next thing, guys, what we will do, we have to test the create product. Before that, we have to spy the, let's see this time spy is working properly or not. So const product spy or create product spy. This is a variable name I'm giving for my product spy. Create product spy. We will talk about it again, guys. So let's just see it, what's happening here. Then we'll talk about this again, right? So now you will see in the products. Earlier we were also trying, right? Products dot, and what we are going to spy here? We are going to spy the create method. That's what we are calling, right? Create method. We'll spy it here, and then we will implement. Then we will provide the implementation for it also, right? This is going to be the promise, right? So it has to be resolved. So let me check the syntax for that also. Yeah, the mock implementation, correct. We've already tried it earlier, but it didn't work, right? At that time, it didn't work. We'll see here. So we did mock implementation. So once we call the create product, automatically this method has to call, right? This line has to call, but this line, whenever we will call this line, rather than this, this implementation will be happened here. So whatever the payload we are sending, we will simply resolve it from here. Okay, guys. So let's understand this line only, guys. Till now, what is happening here? So we are going to test this create product, right? We have created our request and response. We are passing the body also, request.body. In body, name is coming, description is coming, cost is coming, quantity is coming, category ID is coming. These all four things are, this all five things are coming. What is the next step after that? Now we need to call the product.create and pass these things. And then whatever result are coming, we are simply sending those results here, result back. But now, because we are creating the test, in test, we are not going to call this call the real database here. We are not going to insert things in the real database. So that's why what we did, we have spy on that method. So whenever somebody is calling this method, we will rather than doing the original thing, we will provide our mock implementation. Okay, this is like mimicry is happening. So right now, if somebody is calling product.create, somebody is calling product.create, original thing will not work, original thing will not run, this part will run, mock implementation. Okay guys, we will see this. Let's wait a little bit. So now what is the next thing which we need to do? We need to call our create product. We need to call our create product here. We need to call our create product and pass the request and response. Correct? Similar ways. Request and response. That's what, right? It needs two things, request and response. That's what we are doing. We are passing request and response. Correct? And because this is like, this is going to be the promise one. So let's put async. And this could be the await, right? Let me check if I'm doing anything wrong here, guys. So yes, we are calling it. And then in the spy, we can check things. Right. Yeah. So now we can in our spy we can check multiple things. So first thing what we will check, expect if this product.create has been called or not. First we will check this thing. Products.create have been called or not. Syntax I've been have to yeah. Let me check this. Take the syntax. See, in the product.create, what we are saying to have been called with test payload, because that's what we are passing, right? Test payload. So we are checking this product.create have been called with test payload or not. Or we can also check for this spy also, that this spy has been called or not. Expect this create product.spy have been called to have been called only. Right, this to have been called. Then we can also check our status and response also. Response dot status dot to be 200 or to have been called with, because response dot status we are simply, this is a mock function, right? In interceptor. Wait, where is interceptor? Yeah, this is a method, right? We have to call it. So we have to call it, right? So let's see. Response dot status dot to have been called with 200. Correct? The same way we can also check the body also. Expect response dot body dot to have been called with, or to have been called first. Okay. So guys, see, all these things would be called in the product.js. All these things would be called in the product. You can see response.send is there. We are not calling the status. So let's call the status also. Response.status 200, right? In our product. So see, whatever things are happening here, we are testing everything. We have provided some dummy data, which is our test payload. You can see we have provided that test payload. After that, we have to call the await product.creates. So for that, we have created one spy method, and we are returning the same test payload which we are passed. Same we are returning from here. Then what we are checking here, we are checking the response.status has been called or not. So yes, because response.status has to be called. Then we will also checking response.send. Yeah, response.send, not the body. Response.send has been called or not, and response.send should be called with this value. Let me paste this also. Expect response.send to have been called with this value. So let me correct this one. So yeah, message looks good, right? This would be an object, correct? And yeah, and our result would be a test payload which we are sending. The same thing will be written, right? That's what we are returning. So we'll check the same things are coming to us or not. Okay, guys. So now let's test it. But that's what the testing is, guys. That's what we have tested. Now we have tested. If everything is working properly here, it means our product controller is working. This matter is working properly. Let's test it. So npm run test. Let's see if we are getting any error. So we got one error. So let's see where. So expect. So the error is coming for the to have been called with the last one. This one to have been called with. Okay. Okay, so something is wrong here or what? Okay, so result, okay, product got created. Like the syntax error or what type of error is there? One minute, let me fix the indexing, then we'll see. Yeah, and here we are returning this thing. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so expect response on that to have been called. Oh, dot. That was the problem. I see. Now let's see. Both tests has been passed. Okay, guys. So now, guys, let's understand this thing little bit more, and then we will like because that's what the testing is. That's what the same thing we are going to repeat for everything. All the things which we are going to test, all the methods. That's what we are going to do. Everywhere, we are just going to spy that method, and whatever we want to return, we will return from here. Okay, so let me see first. Are you guys understood this thing? Oh, thank you for you guys. You guys have already told that dot problem. What about others? Vishal has understood. So see, guys, let me again repeat it. Let me again repeat it because the same thing we are going to do for everything, for category also, for like cart also, for the other methods in product controller also. Same thing we are going to do everywhere. Okay, so let's try to understand. First, we have created, like, let's try to understand from here. Okay, and or before that, let's try to understand from the interceptor why we created the interceptor file. Okay, so if, because all the controller method need request and response variable, correct? Need request and response variable. So and we are going to do unit testing. We are not doing right now end to end testing. In the end to end testing, request will start from the routes, correct? Request will start from the routes, and then it will automatically, like express will provide you request and response keys there. But right now we are directly calling the product.controller file. We are not starting our server from index.js. That's why somehow we need to provide request and response. And with request and response, all those methods we need to provide, which we are going to call. So like in the product.js, as you can see, I was calling the status, I was calling the send, I was calling the body. So all those things we need to provide, right? While testing, see, that's why the testing is difficult, because in testing you have to create everything what your product needs. Whatever your function needs, you have to create everything. You guys won't believe, I have created everything here. I haven't missed anything from here. I have created everything from here. I created the request.body. I created the request response. Even I didn't make this call. Rather than making this call, I spied this method and return my result. Rather than this, like it will go for database and then create the record and then that record will come. Rather than that, what we did, we mocked this function and return our result. That's what we are doing in this line. That's what we did in this line. You guys can see we spy on the product.create and implemented our method. That's why the mocking is very important. Okay, guys. So now it has not created any record in database, but still we have tested our create product controller. Okay. So now what we did, first we created the interceptor just for mock request and mock response. Then we imported all of the things which we need to mock, or the function which we need to call, or the function which we need to test. Okay. After that, once we imported everything here, then we start with describing what we are going to do inside this particular test suite. We simply set that as a test suite. So test suite means, like, when we have multiple tests at one place, that's called the test suite. So that's what this is, the test suite name is product controller testing. Okay, and this is our test. So once we combine multiple tests here, we can write now multiple tests inside this test suite. Okay, we can write multiple tests here. So now first we created our test suite. Inside that, I told you about these hooks before each. So before each request, every time this hook will run, and every time request and response will be set again. Mock request and mock response again it will set, because see, in this test I set the request.body as test payload, but in might be in the another test we do not want that body. So that's why before each test, request and response, everything will be empty again, because we are setting the mock request, and mock request is returning us the empty request and empty response. Okay, guys. So and then we created our test. We created some dummy data which we want to pass as a payload, and that same result we want to get back, because that's what the same thing you will pass from the UI side also. Assign that value in request.body, because in the request.body only you are accessing it. You can see request.body only you are accessing it. That's why we assign those values in request.body. Then we did the spy, and then we called our method, the method which we are going to test with the request. And then after that, we are just simply testing what is coming in response, because these are the mock functions. So we can simply check with what values they are being called, because response.send have been called with this value, right? Message and this result. And this result, we are only providing it, because this result is coming from this line, and this line we have already implemented, mock implemented. That's why this is coming here. Now let's test for error scenario also. So we have tested the success state product controller. Let's test the error one also very quickly. Same, I think there won't be much changes. That's what, guys. Now there won't be much changes. Test error, create product controller. So now when error will come when this promise will reject. Means means error will now come when, see, in this lines error will come. No, right? They are just simply fetching the data. Error will only come when this await will fail. So that's why now we'll make it fail, and we should get this thing. And now our status should be 500. Now we should be called with this. We should be called for a status message with the value 500. So let's check. So we are good. We are rejecting it. And this time test payload. No, no, no. We will be rejecting it with error. Yeah, we need to pass some error. Correct? We need to pass some error from here. So now this could be like a creation error. Should be passing with error, right? Not needed test payload now. Okay. Now we are again calling the create product. This is same. Create product has to be called. Product create has to be called with test payload. I think this should also work. This should also work. Yeah, this should also work. So do I need to pass this thing? Let's pass it. No problem. To have been called, no. It has to be called with 500. Okay. Response.send. Okay. Now this message will become this internal server error. Internal server error. And our error would be one string, which we are returning from here. It should be a creation error. That's what we are returning, right? This is the same result we are returning for this line for product.js. We are returning from here. So then it should come here. We'll check. We'll check if there is any error. we will correct it. Okay, let's see. Let's run npm run test. Okay, so yeah, it has been passed properly. See, test suite 2 passed and test 3 passed. Product.controller.test and product route.test. Let's make it some fault. Let's rather than 500, let's 400. Let's see what is the error. Yeah, you can see expected 400 but received 500. Okay, guys. So let me now pause it here. Let me just push these changes also, so you guys can also try it. Let me run it again. Yes, it's working properly. Let me push these changes. Let me take your doubts. Let me, if you guys want me to repeat it, I will do that also. Product test. Now the changes has been pushed. Why 73 and 74 hours response.send? Why 73 and 74 hours? Yeah. So who was, what was the name? Likit. So Likit, we are testing here that in our create product method, when we are calling send, what are the values? What are the values with the what are the values with that we are calling the response.send? And here I just simply testing the response.send. Are we calling it or not? To have been called or not? So that this line is simply telling the response.send has been called or not. And if response.send has been called, so with what values it has been called? These are the values we are in. And you can see here response.send has been called and with these values. Same way response.status has been called or not. So response.status, I haven't checked this line there for status, but yeah, response.status has been called with what values? With 500 values for error scenarios. And in the success scenario, you will see we have tested it with the 200. Okay. And the same goes here. We can remove this line. It's not necessary, but this line is telling that response.send has been called. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's test it. I'm not sure about that, Likit. But yeah, they can ask about the methods like mock implementation methods or spy on. You should know about these methods name. What is the purpose of these methods? I believe people will ask if somebody is going to ask to you about anything about the testing, they are going to simply ask these things only. How the spy on works, how the mock implementation work. No, not in interview, sir. I'm not sure about that exam also, Likit. You have to ask these things like from the Ansul or Mayank, but they had provided. So I'm that's what I'm saying. I think in the test they might be asking things only. What is the mock implementation method is? What is the spy on? What is the jest.fn? These methods they will simply ask. Okay, guys. So in MCQ, as I think, yeah, and MCQ. That's right. But see, you like, are you guys anywhere facing this problem to understand these things? Because I personally feel this is not very difficult. This particular understanding, because I was just simply making the spy for my method, and based now I can do anything. The product dot create has to do only two things, because this is a promise. It has to resolve or reject. So that's what I am trying to do here. And once I did that, whatever I am doing here, now, like simply I can achieve everything from here. Whatever my function is doing, I can test everything here. Correct? They might ask if we are being taught. Yes. How create come is a method name. Yes. So see how the create come, because We are calling product.create. Product is an object, has create method. So that's why product.create comes. Now we want to spy that method. Product.create. Product has create method. Product has find one method. Product has, see, like if we go into the get all products, we'll see all other methods of products also. See, find all is there. We can spy find all also. We have find one. We can spy find one also. If we go down also, see here, we have product.save. We can spy this one also. So that's what we can spy all the methods which products provides us. For the delete, it has destroy. We can spy this one also. When we will test the delete product method, at that time we will spy this one also. So we are, whatever method product is calling, we can simply spy on. Because why we are spying on? Because we do not want to call the original thing. So that's why we want to provide our implementation for those methods. We want to provide our implementation for those methods. That's why we did it. We don't want to call the original ones. Similar like mimicry. We want to do mimicry for those functions. Yes. After spy on, it's always an object. So spy on as the first argument always needs an object. And in that object, whatever the methods and keys that object is exporting, we have to provide the second one. Okay. I think guys, with these methods, we will understand more about the spy on. See, once I was also reading about the mock and just.fn, just.spy on, that was not making much sense. But now, with this example, I also understood how these things are working. Like, what are the things you want to test? Everything you can do it now. How many times request has been called, or how many times we can see, like, let's go back to the create products. Let's try to understand a little bit more. Like what other things we can test here? Because this data one we cannot test, because data we are only passing it. So data we cannot test here. What other things we can test here? Anyone? Can you guys tell me what other thing we can test here with this method? Because data already we are passing it. So there is no things to test for data here, right? So see, we can test the status, we can test the send message. That's what we did already. We can check the error part. That's what we already did. So maximum thing, whatever we can do, we have already tested it out here. We have tested the send, we have tested the status. We have also tested that product.create has been called or not. So yes, product has been called and with the same payload, whatever payload we are passing. The product.create is calling with the same payload, this one. Correct? That's what also we tested. So are you guys feeling a little bit comfortable or confidence with these methods? Yeah, that's what. Actually, when I was also reading about the spy on and mock, I was also a little bit confused, like why they are providing these many methods. But once I may put them into our projects, then it also started making sense to me also. So let's create one more method for find all. Let's do for find all also. Let's try to write for find all also. And by the way, like the file which I provided you, like lot of controller they have created here. You can see here, this one we have already created, already tested it, this one. Then they are testing with error. That's what also we have tested. Then they are testing the find all also. So we will do also the find all one. So before that, we have to see what we needed in the find all. So let's go into the find all. Where is the find all? Which is the get all products, right? So let's see what are the things we needed. I think we do not needed anything from the request. So we are good there, right? And from the find all, we just need to return something from here. And that could be one array, right? See, that's how you create the test, right? See, first you understand what your function is doing. So your function is calling the product at find all, okay? And once it calls the product.find all, it will return one array to you, right? So now you have to think. So once you will, because we will spy this method. So while we are spying this method, we have to return one array from there. We have to return one array from there, and then we can simply test send one, and the same I think for failure one we can also test. I think it will not be very difficult, like it will not be very different, it will be same. So let's go, let's do it. It test success, find all scenario, find all scenario, or let's go, no problem, we'll go for other also. I think I'm thinking for one where we were using the filter products, where I think they at that scenario we might get some more examples, but here it will be same, right? So yeah, so our request and response is still there, and let's import the what was the method? Get all products. Get all products. That's what we are going to test it. So get all products needed two things: request and response, right? And now before that we have to spy, right? We have to spy const spy. We can create one spy here also. It will be just dot spy on same products. This is an object, and which method this time? Find all. Correct. In the products we are calling the find all only. So this method product dot find all. Yeah, and then provide your implementation, mock implementation, and we will simply return from here. Like we have to return one array from here, right? So we can return return promise dot resolve. We can return one array from here. So let's return one array from here, right? So we can create a small the same object we can create same payload which we have taken. We can, or might be, yeah, that's fine. We can take the same object from there, right? Yeah. Now we are simply returning the same array from there. Okay. Now let's call the get all products and let's again check expect response dot send dot to have been called with, because this is a success scenario, right? So send has been called with the same result. The same array has to be called there. Same array has been called there. We can also check for status. We are, by the way, we are not calling the status here. So let's call the status also. Response dot status 200, 201, whatever you want to do. We can check for the 201 directly. Expect response dot status dot to have been called with. Guys, there are a lot of methods, but right now I only remember that to have been called with. That's why I'm again and again using the same method. Okay. Let's see. Are we getting any error while testing this scenario? Okay. Let me run npm run test. Let me see. Are we getting any error? Yes, we are. So let's see what is that error. Expected 201 number of to have been called with response dot status. Okay. So response dot status to have been called with 201. Okay. So what is happening? Okay. Let's check first. Our spy has been called or not. Let's put on inside this expect spy has been called or not. So looks like spy has been called, but to have been called with response dot status has not been called. Why? Response dot status. Okay, so you guys are seeing any error? Let me know. 372 lines code. 372. 372. Where 372? And I didn't understand. Oh, you are saying in that file. I see. Guys, are you seeing any error? So I'm just simply calling the get all products. Are we calling wrong way? Oh, await is not there. Await is not there. It's a small mistake, guys. It happens. Yeah. Now everything is passing. Correct. 201 is there, and this response we are getting back. Okay. So that's how we'll do. And now this was like first. Let me know. Are you good? Did you understood this part? Could you explain the spy on function mock implementation sort? Sure, sir. Because this one is the important one only. So see, spy on always needs one object as the first argument, and whatever the field or that object is exporting, you can spy on those methods. So product is exporting like multiple keys here. Find all, find one. We remember about the destroy, right, and create. All these things we can spy on. And why we are spying on? Because we do not want to run their original implementation. Original implementation is create the tape, create this particular record in database. We don't want that. That's why we are spying on that. And then we provided our own implementation कि जब भी उनको कॉल किया जाए तो हमारी ये implementation चले, right? So that's why we are providing the mock implementation to them, and then based on whatever result they want, I'm just returning those things. Promise.resolve, we are simply returning the success scenario. That's why promise.resolve. If we would be able, if we would be testing the negative scenario, then we would be sending the promise or reject here. Okay, and then we are simply calling our get all product, and then checking all the thing with that our methods are working properly or not. This response status is working properly or not. This thing is good because we do not want to test this part. We want to test this whole function. So that's why whatever the extra things are there, whatever the internal call it is making, we have to mock everything there. Okay. So let's look for filter based product. Yes, I think here this could be a little bit interesting to test this one. Let me try this one, guys. Let's see. We have some minutes because after that we have to look for the routes one. Yes, it's spying on specific key. Correct. After that we have to look for the routing one also. But before that, let's look for the filter products. Let me see if we can test the filter products there, because that would be interesting, I think. Let's first call the filter products, right? And let's see our filter based product. What are the things we needed? So first thing, I think in the query, we needed category ID, name, min cost, and max cost. Okay. So we can provide any one of the things, right? If we are providing category ID, then I think find all has to call. Okay. If we are providing name, still find all has to call. Okay. And if we are providing find all has to call. Okay. If we are providing everywhere, I think find all has to provide. Okay. So I think if we will spy on find all, I think whatever we want to return, we can simply return it, right? And then at the end, yeah, we are just simply calling the send method. So what is interesting here? No. I think interesting would be if we create an array in our like like if we create some sample array, test array, and then we provide entries there, and then based on min cost and max cost, we can do the array filtration. Then I think it would be interesting, guys. What I'm trying to say here, see, whatever we did till now, we are simply spying these methods, right? Let me show you the last one. Yeah, this one. We are simply spying the find all. In the filter case also, I think everywhere we are calling the find all only, and then we are simply calling the response.send. So it means if we just spy on the find all and change the implementation, whatever we want to return, we can simply return it. But that will not be interesting, right? Let me see in the chat. But that would not be interesting, right? Like if you want to test the category, we can simply return the category result. The interesting would be you create one sample payload, sample array, and in that array, no, but that could also be not easy because you are not going to test. You're not going to write any business logic, any logic in your test cases. Yes, guys, always remember while you're writing unit test, you're not going to write any business logic there. Like as I was going to say, as I was saying to you, that write some business logic for that and filter it out from the array. Never do that. I think I was trying to make it interesting, but that's not the purpose of test cases. Simple purpose of test cases is like test the features which are available in there in the in your function. So I think what you can test here, you can simply test if category ID, somebody is providing the category ID, then only category ID's result should come here. If somebody is providing the name, then only name should be written. If somebody is providing the min cost, then only min cost result should be provided. That's what you can test here, I think. But you cannot. Let me check in the queries what they are doing here. So they are sending they are first sending should call product controller find all method with empty query values. So they are not providing anything in the empty query values. Then they are testing first, right? Then they are providing the min cost. Then based on that, they are returning the data. And see, everywhere they are sending the same data every time. But what you are checking here, that you when you are not providing anything, you should get what data you are getting. If you are calling anything, then what data you are getting. Those things they are testing. See, every time they are returning the same result. New product, new product. Every time you will get the new product only. What is the difference? They are just simply changing the query here, but in the response, there is nothing difference. In the max cost value, also same. Min cost and max cost is still same. And guys, you know, the new product is coming from where? From this mock data. In mock data, they have the new product. Let's check this also. See, every time they are returning this result. Even whatever your cost is, whatever this, but they are simply, so see, you know, what they are testing there? They are simply testing if you're not providing in min cost, your code is running or not. If you're not providing max cost, your code is running or not. If you are providing only min cost, not providing max cost, your code is running or not. That part of thing they are testing there in the filter product. Are we good with that, guys? Are you understood what they are testing with filter product? They are only testing if you are passing min cost or max cost, your code, your function is running or not. If you are not passing max cost, is it running or not? If you are simply passing name there, is it running or not? It's like TDD. It's not TDD. See, TDD and BDD is, you know, different, right? TDD happens. TDD is approach. Testing is everywhere. Testing is everywhere. Testing, TDD and BDD, it's an approach where when we should do testing, when we should do testing. These are not the types of testing. When we should do testing. This is unit testing which we are doing. If you want to know the type of testing, we are doing the unit testing. Okay, and TDD and BDD is an approach when we should do the testing. So we are not doing the TDD, we are not doing the BDD. We are doing the conventional testing because we have written the code. Now we are doing the testing. Okay, it's not TDD, it's not BDD. It's a unit testing. Okay, Vishal. So guys, that's all about the controller, and the rest part you can follow from the these files, because I have seen all the categories. They are doing the similar thing everywhere. See, for the categories also, they have called the category model. Then similar way everywhere. Everything happening similar. Nothing changing. Same goes for cart also. See, nothing is changing. They are spying on the model. Then they are simply calling it. Okay, guys. So now that's why I am just now stopping the controller part. Let's look into the routes part. अब हम क्या करेंगे? अब हम end to end test करेंगे. अब हमारा अब हम क्या है कि हम एपीआई में सीधे कॉल करेंगे, जो कि हम पोस्टमैन से कर रहे थे। हम पोस्टमैन से एपीआई कॉल कर रहे थे। दैट्स व्हाट वी विल डू इट नाउ। नाउ दिस विल बी एंड टू एंड टेस्टिंग। ओके, नाउ इट कुड create the things in database. It could create the things in database. नहीं लिखित, you can just read it and you can understand also. You can try to implement it. Everything is repeated every time. So if you will try to create 2 to 3 tests, you will understood the whole concept, how the testing is working there. It's for everyone. You just need to write 2 3 tests. Try to understand 2 3 tests. Then I think every test you can write it. Okay, for the controller part. Now let's go for the routes part. So let's understand first how our routes flow is working. Okay, so let's see. So let's see. Let's go into the index.js because everything is running from index.js, right? Everything is running from index.js. So let's see. So this is our Express app. This is some database thing which we are doing. We are just simply like sequencing dot authenticates and creating some default data. Correct? If we ignore this thing, so if you just see in the routing scenarios, so we are just exporting the express from here, and then we are using all of our routes here, right? And then we are starting our server. Correct? Then we are starting our server. So what we will do now for testing purpose, just because now we have to start our server, right? Now we have to start our server end to end, and now that all has to happen from the testing scenario. You will not start your server. All thing has to happen from the testing side. That's why super test is there. That's why we have the package called super test. Let me show you first the super test, how that super test package looks like. You see this super test package, how this is working. You will create your express, you will create your app, you will create your route there. Then just you need to pass this app here, request app, and then automatically you will say which route you are requesting, then what are you expecting here, what response you are expecting. Correct? You see, they are simply like, like importing the express, importing the server, and then this. Correct? So we will also do the similar thing, guys. We'll create one more file here, app.js. App.js. Correct? And we'll copy the same thing. Not this thing. We'll copy our index.js. We'll copy our index.js from it. Okay? We'll copy our index.js. First, let's remove the database, all the database stuff from here. Because already tables has been created, already tables has been synchronized. So we are good there. Correct? We are good there. So let's remove all this models part, not the express. Let's remove the model part. We are also not going to start our server. So let's remove the port also. Now it's just the all of our routes and our express is there. So let's just export the express from here. Module.exports app. Guys, similar thing. You can see he has imported the express package, right? Here is we have imported the express. Then const app is equal to express. We created our routes. That's what we did. That's what we are also doing in the app.js. We have started our express app. We have brought all the routes here. Database already will happen. Okay. So now let's first go into our routes file. Where is that? In the test folder. Yeah, in the test folder. Let's go into our routes file. Let's remove all these things. And let's first import the new file which we created, which is the app, right? Let's go back and app. Now we got the app, right? Now we can call the super test also here. Const request is equal to super test. Require super test. Right, guys? That's what is happening here. We have, in this scenario, they are exporting, they are using one file, but in our scenario, we have created a separate file, and then we have imported everything from app to here. Correct? So now let's create one test here. Test. We can create a describe also, but I'm simply creating a test here. And let's take test the get all product, get all products API. Okay. Okay. So now app is here. Now app has been started. Now let's like look for our API endpoint. Let's go into the routes and let's look for, yeah, this is the slash ecom slash API slash v1 product. So this is the endpoint which we are going to look, because this is specific to here. So we can simply write it here. API endpoint. Correct? This is our endpoint. Right? Now let's use a similar thing. This one, const response equal to await request app, as they are doing in the UI. See, request app, then call the endpoint. So dot get, and then we can pass our API endpoint. Okay. So now you can see in our database. Now let's check. See, for guys, for this our database has to be running. And right now everything we are doing in the, everything we are doing from the this config only. This config from this database only, e-commerce. But I will tell you one thing, but let's first test this thing. Okay. And now test expect response dot status code to be 200, and we will console the response. Now this is coming from database, guys. Response dot body. Let's console it. Let's test it. Let's see, are we facing any issues or not? And we are going to run the product routes. Yeah, npm run test. Let's see. Yes, so we got one issue, which is this here. Expected 200 but received 500. Somehow 500 is coming there. Database error, unknown database test. Okay. So now let's understand this also, guys. Then, so see, guys, we are doing right now the testing, right? We are running from the testing. Correct. We are running the testing files. So that's why automatically it has taken the testing credentials for the for the database, because SQLize right now you can see, that's why it is trying to access the, you see error database test. So that's why, because we are running the super test, we are running our server from the test folders. That's why it has automatically picked this credential test. We need to correct this one. We have to provide e-commerce database here also. Now it should work. Now it should work. I will tell you what happened there. But let's first see what are the other errors we are getting. So yeah, we got the response, but what happened with the status? Oh, so status is coming as 201, not 200. Yeah, 201. And you can see, guys, response.body. This is coming from our database, right? Makeup kit, best fragrance, best for summer holidays. You see, if I show you the products here, yeah, makeup kit, fog, summer clothes. So now you can create everything from here. You can simply test everything. This is end to end. Okay. Now you can go for creation also, same way. You just need to look for the super test here, how the super test is taking right now. See, this is the get, right? There will be down, like, see, if you have to provide username and password, the token scenario, you have to set the token also here. In the post scenario, you can see we can send some response from here. Okay. Okay, guys, so that's how the, let me first push this change, and then I will look for your queries also. And I think I have to tell two, three more things to you guys here, but we will talk about this later. First, let me uh, look onto your queries, routes testing. Yeah. Let's come back to your queries. It's just for reading, not to by heart. Yes, where this super test coming from? So Vishal, we are using super test to make the API calls. As we were doing the calls from the postman, you remember from the postman we were making the calls for our APIs. Right now, we rather than doing it from the postman, we will write some code which would automatically calls all the APIs one by one. So that's why super test help us. Supertest provides a request method to us, and in that request method, we will just pass our application, and then whatever routes we want to call, we can simply call it. Okay, Vishal. So you can see that this was the endpoint we were trying to call. Similar way, we can call other endpoints also, like for categories also we can call like this one, ecom slash API slash given categories. We can change this to categories. Now this endpoint will also work. And in the response.body, you will see the response. Let me run npm run test. See, everything is passed. Again, the same status code is a problem here. You see, all three categories are coming. Beauty, fragrance, clothes, all three categories are coming. And the status code is a problem. They're saying it should be 200, not 201. That we can fix it, right? That we can simply fix it. Yeah, now all tests are passing. Understood, guys, about the super test? Supertest providing us Express app replica. No, no, no. Supertest is not providing anything. Supertest is providing you to way to call APIs. So you have already passed the Express app. Supertest first need your Express app, and once you got your Express app, now you can, because in Express app we have already all the routes, right? So we can simply call all the routes. That flow will continue from there. Yeah, similar like Postman. In Postman, see, for running in Postman we have to start our server, right? Then we can only go to the Postman, but Supertest is automatically doing everything. You just need to pass your Express app there, and then automatically internally it will start the server. It will make the whatever the endpoint you are providing, it will make the call and return back the result. That's what the Supertest is doing. Okay, so one thing, guys. See, while making the changes in Supertest, we should always change the config.json here. Right now, I am using the same database, but in real scenarios, we always have different database for test, different database for production. The database which we are using for development, we do not use the same database for testing. Right now, I have not created any database new, but we have to create the new database. And once you will create the new database, you guys know, right? We have to run the migration files. So all the tables and everything will be created. Migrations and seeders file. So that's why migrations and seeders also come into the picture. Correct? So that's why the migration and seeders also come into the picture. So I think when we will do the production deployment, at that time we might need a different database. Correct? So at that time we will see how the production and seeders are also helping us. Okay. Okay. One more thing I think, guys, which is about the coverage, right? So just also provide you to look for coverage as well. So in the packet.json with just you can provide the coverage keyword. So it will give you one table which will tell you how many file you have written the test cases, and how many more file like still has we have not written the test cases for that. I will show you how that table looks like. You see, this is a table, all files, app.js, 100, because we are already using the app.js. Correct? These are some of the files we have not created any test, 12.99. And they say that coverage should always be more than 75%. So right now, because we have not created test cases for all the scenarios, that's why some of the files we are not able to get it. And I think like this logic is little bit weird also. Not sure like why auth.js is coming. It should also come as red, right? But somehow it is coming as a green. But yeah, that's all the coverage fault. Coverage means in the testing scenario, in the testing word, coverage means that how many lines of code we have already covered through our test scenarios. How many logics or how many tests, simply lines of code. How many lines of code we have covered through our test scenarios. That's what the coverage is all about. Okay, guys, let me see in the slide if I'm forgetting anything else. So we have understood created method, mock implementation we have done, testing methods, find one, find all. Okay, it's all similar. Database setup, yes, I already told you. We have to do that database setup for them. Correct. And then we written our routes. You can see here the similar way. They're using the await request and then API endpoint plus categories. So you can see this one is the post one. How can we add a new product in test database, not in the development one? Then we talk about the code coverage. It's a term used in software testing to describe how much of source code is covered by a testing suite or list or the test cases. How many, how much of source code or how many lines of that you have already covered, and you just need to provide minus minus test. Oh yeah, cross env I have not added. Yeah, this line I have not also added. The cross env one. Yes, those that cross env line we have to add here. Cross underscore env. Same line, right? Let me see. We copy this from here. It will tell us about the environment. By the way, automatically it has taken the environment at test, right? That's why, if you guys remember, we were getting the error when the database is different here. Automatically it has picked up. But yes, but if we will provide the cross env, then in different OS machines, it will properly pick the node underscore env values, because in different environment variables, node underscore env picks in different ways. But with the cross env, so like cross env means all the environment which we had, we are have to pick the node env in this way only, and always the node env values for running the test, it would be test only, not any other values. Okay, so that was all about the. So yeah, this is the see. This is these are the MCQs which they can ask. You guys can see my screen, right? Let me know in the chat. You guys can see my screen. Yes. So these type of MCQs they can ask, right? In the let's see this type of MCQs. So which test package is used to test API endpoint for our application? Can anyone answer? For testing API endpoints, which what we used? Super test or just for testing our endpoints? Super test, yes. For testing our endpoints, we use a super test. Let's see next question. To have been called with. To have been called with is used to. To have been called with is used to accept a function that will be used as a implementation of mock for every call to the mock function. Accept a value that will be written for one call to the mock function. Accept a value that will be set as a mock value for request or response. Accept a value that will be written for every call to the mock function. Can anyone answer this one? To have been called with is used to have been called with is used to accept a function that will be used in implementation of mock for every call to the mock function. Accept a value that will be written for one call to the mock function. Accept a value that will be set as a mock value for request or response. Accept a value that will be written for every call to the mock function. Yeah. What could be the answer according to you guys? Yeah, for me also it looks like D. For me also it looks like D, because see, to have been called with, it tells us what are the values which we have passed while calling the mock function. See, we have used, right, to have let's see in the controller if we have been used to have been called with. Yeah, to have been called with. So we are telling what are the values we are passing to call that mock function, because response dot status is a mock function, right? We have created status as a mock function. So what is the value which we are passing to call this response dot status? So for me it looks like D also. Do we have any answers for them? Let me see, do we have answers? Okay, I will check the answers, but for me it looks like D. Okay, let's look for, it will not be written. Okay, so it will not be written, you are saying. Accept a value that will be written for every call to the mock function. Hmm. Okay. If that's the scenario, then I think the one could be the better answer. The second A. Okay. Okay. Let's skip this question. I will look for this answer. Then I will let you guys know. Let's look for third answer. Mock implementation is used to accept a function that will be used as an implementation of mock for every call to the mock function. Okay. Accept a value that will be written for one call to the mock function. I think this is not the correct. Accept a function that will be used as an implementation of mock for one call to the, no, not for one call. It will be for every call. Accept a function that will be written for every call to the mock function. Okay. Now it's again 1 and 4. So let's see. Accepts a function that will be used as an implementation of mock for every call to the mock function. Yeah, I think the third A could be the answer, right? What do you say about the third question? Implementation, we are using a mock function for just calling that mock function, right? Instead of original function, see, mock implementation, wherever we're doing, instead of calling this function, we are just simply calling this one. So that's what I think they are saying here. Mock for every call to the mock function. Let's see the next question here. Just uses uh, to be truthy, to be falsy matches to test a value with exact quality to the exact. So I think 2 equal is there and 2b is there for exact thing. Or no, I think 2b equal or 2 match could also be there. Matches to test a value with quality, exact quality. 2 be equal or 2 match? That could be my answer. 2 match also exact. But in 2 match, I remember we can provide the regex also. If that is the case, I think 2b and 2 equal should be the answer here. What do you guys think about this scenario? About the fourth question, what do you see? Answer as a B. So you guys are saying this one, 2b equal and 2 match. Okay. Hmm. Because I have the confusion with 2 match. Because I remember in match, it provides you regex also, but yeah, it could be the exact also. Okay, which life cycle methods gets called before the execution of test case? Before all, before each, before the execution of test case. What do you say? What could be the answer for 5? What could be the answer for 5, guys? B or C? B. I think before each could be the right answer, but because they are specifically talking about execution of a test case. So it looks like before executing any of the test case, we say that before each will be called. So yes, I think before each could be the answer, could be the C. Let me see if I have the answers. Let me see, guys. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Oh yes, I have the answer. So let me provide you the answers also. Share my screen. I think we might have given some wrong answers. So see, for first one, which test package? So we were correct there, super test, right? I think for the second one, we have given the wrong answer. They are saying to have been called with is used to accept a value that will be set as a mock value for request and response. Is it accept a value that will be set as a mock value for request and response? So we are setting value, okay, for request and response. Hmm. I have some doubt with this answer, but let's see. Okay. Okay. For the mock implementation, accept a function that will use information mock. Yeah, that one already we have given the A, right? Right. For third we have given A, right? What was the answer we have given for third? A or D? Okay. Yeah, it was A only because we are not returning. We are using that every call to mock function. Sorry, guys. For fourth, it's C. Yeah, 2B and 2 equal. Yes, I was having confusion with 2 match. And there is no method as 2B equal. Oh, we guys, there is no method as 2B equal. It's 2 equal. And here also before each. Yeah. So I think our answer is wrong for this only. And all other answer are fine. So out of 5, 4 are correct. So we can say like 80% are correct. So I think, yeah, that's all for today, guys. So you guys have 2 days today, like whole Saturday and Sunday, and then half of Monday also. So I want you guys to look for these repos and try to test it, try to understand things, and then in next call we will try to clear all of your doubts. Okay, and then we will move further also. We will go for the deployment step. Okay, so let's wrap it today, guys. I know this was a little bit tough for you guys to understand this testing one, but I'm hoping that you guys have understood the mean, like why we are using unit testings and some of the unit test cases, how we can write it, and when we are writing any unit test cases, what are the things we need to test, correct? And what are the libraries? Important one is the libraries, because I think people are going to ask about these libraries to you guys in your interviews or in the might be in the exam also. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. We'll connect on next class. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye. Yeah, need little bit practice. Yeah, just try to do little bit practice, and once you will do the practice, automatically all the methods and everything will be, you guys will remember, because I have seen all the files. It's repeating. All the things are repeating there. Nothing new. Yeah, sure. Okay, guys. So that's all for today. We'll meet on Monday. Yeah. Bye bye.